Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the May edition of the I-10 Connect project meeting, where we inform the public as to what's going on the I-10 Connect project. We're joined today by our project manager for TxDOT, Jorge Orejel, the project manager for Sunt Construction, Rudy Elias, and Martin Bartlett will be walking you through some of the upcoming changes. He's with Barracuda PR, and we're so happy to have him. He's going to tell you tonight about an emergency closure that's happening tonight. And also, we're going to get a peek ahead at what the final product of this is going to look like and what the changes in traffic, which are really quite radical, might look like in the near future. Although we don't have an exact date for that, we are trying to accelerate the project as much as possible. And so we could be seeing some of these changes, which ultimately the project will bring about anyway. We may see them sooner rather than later. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Martin Bartlett with Barracuda PR to take us through it. We'll take your questions. We'll take your questions via email. You can send an email to I-10 Connect. What is it? info@i10connectelpaso.com.
That is correct.
Or you can let us know what your questions are. And also, we'll post this on Facebook later, and we'll monitor it so we can answer your questions later. Martin?
Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, as you said, we're going to take a look ahead at some things, some of which are going to be coming between now and the end of the project, but one of them that's coming even sooner, starting tonight. So we really want to make this as much of an interactive conversation as possible. Typically we have these meetings at Texas Tech Health Science Center here in El Paso, but given health concerns, we've gone ahead and taken this meeting virtual, but still absolutely happy to take your questions. You can either comment if you're watching us live on Facebook, or as Jennifer mentioned, email us info@i10connectelpaso.com, and we'll get those questions answered for you as immediately as possible. Any of the questions which kind of come up later down the road, we'll be answering those between now and next month's meeting. All right, so we'll dive right on in. Jennifer mentioned that there is a team behind this project. Of course, this is a project of the Texas Department of Transportation. Sunt is the general contractor for this project. Consor is providing construction oversight and inspections of this project. KCI is the firm that designed the project, and Barracuda Public Relations, the local firm for which I work, is working with TxDOT on public involvement for the construction phase of this project. Some important facts about this project: a $96 million project. Construction began in February 2019, so a little over a year ago, and 3 years have been allocated for completion of this project. As Jennifer mentioned, there is an incentive to complete this project more quickly, and that means finding innovative solutions. So that means if the contractor is incentivized to be innovative, you and I as motorists are incentivized rather to be patient with some of those changes. Let's take a look at what some of the final configuration of this project will eventually bring about. Everything you see here on the screen in blue is a new ramp, either a ramp which is brand new or a ramp which is replacing an existing ramp. We talk a lot about this project is about adding more noodles at the spaghetti bowl. And the reason those noodles are more important is if you are driving along I-10 and want to get over to Loop 375 as an alternate route, it's incredibly difficult right now, and has been for many years. This project will make it easier to get between I-10 and Loop 375 at the spaghetti bowl. It will also give ramps or traffic which is going to Juarez their own ramps. So it's really primarily about making that connection between I-10 and Loop 375 more seamless. That is the connect in I-10 Connect. There are also changes coming to the Paisano Drive Interstate 110 intersection. We'll take a look at those in depth later in the presentation, but next we wanted to just show you an animated fly-through of the way the project will look when all is said and done. All right, so again, this is an animated version of what the project will look like when it is completed, when all is said and done. And you'll notice it looks a lot like the still image we showed you earlier. Again, anything you see in blue is a new ramp which is being added or replaced as part of this project. I'll let the video kind of speak for itself for a moment and come back in just a moment. Now pay close attention to this area here, right there, I-110 and Paisano area. We're going to talk a little bit more about the changes you'll see there a little bit later on. It may not look like a lot right now, but when we really dig into it, you'll see some pretty, as Jennifer mentioned, radical changes coming to that area. All right, so now we're kind of flying over the Bridge of the Americas, looking back towards the Spaghetti Bowl interchange. So now we're going to do a driver's eye view. Let's say we're leaving downtown, trying to get over to Loop 375 to use that as an alternate. Again, that's something that right now is really difficult to do in the current configuration. There's no direct way to get there. In fact, you have to go through several traffic lights, and again, no direct way to get there. But this animation shows that when this project is complete, a direct access from I-10 to Loop 375 there at the Spaghetti Bowl. Right now, of course, the only ways you can directly get on I-10 or from I-10 to Loop 375 is, for example, kind of near the Sunland Park Mall area, also out I-10 and Americus. Here's another driver's eye view showing you how the difference in when you will make that decision about when you're going from, say, Cielo Vista Mall to the Bridge of the Americas. You know, right now, once you take the Juarez exit, you have a little bit of time to make a decision. Do I really want to go to Juarez? Do I really want to go to Paisano? When this project is complete, whether you're coming I-10 West, I-10 East, US 54 South, you'll make that decision about going to Juarez at the Spaghetti Bowl. And once you take those Juarez exits, there will be augmented signage, but once you decide to take the Juarez exit, you're heading to the Bridge of the Americas. One thing you'll notice in this animation, and a little bit of additional capacity for vehicles that may be waiting to go across the Bridge of the Americas into Juarez. So the animation we just showed you is about what this project will look like when it is all said and done. That's still many months from now, but we have one emergency closure we want to let you know about that is a few hours away. We put this out via text message alert earlier today and on the I-10 Connect and Text social media platforms. An emergency closure tonight of ramp K. That's the ramp that links southbound US 54 to westbound I-10. So going northeast El Paso towards downtown El Paso, that ramp will be closed later this evening to make sure that crews can safely repair a bridge joint on that ramp. That closure will be in place tonight, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. So if you're heading out and about, I know a lot of folks aren't heading out and about, but if you are, want to make sure you know that ramp from US 54 southbound to I-10 westbound at the Spaghetti Bowl will be completely closed overnight tonight. You know, also right there at the Spaghetti Bowl, if you've driven I-10 lately, you've seen a lot of changes immediately to the west of US 54. A really high-flying direct connector ramp, about 75 to 80 feet above the driving surface on I-10. Probably one of the most visible components of this project that's being constructed. That ramp will be the direct connector ramp from southbound US 54 to Loop 3, or rather to the Bridge of the Americas. So we talked about, you know, you'd be making that decision about going to Juarez sooner. That's the ramp you would take from US 54 to get to the Bridge of the Americas. And crews have been out there busy for several weeks working on actually placing some of the bridge deck panels. We have a video to show some of that work that's been taking place recently at night. All right, so again, some very impressive work taking place over I-10, previously requiring closures on I-10. Now that work has kind of progressed a little bit south of the freeway, and so primarily impacting surface streets, Rosa and Durazno Avenue in the Lincoln Park neighborhood. So closures there, but right now, no closures planned for that work on Interstate 10 east and westbound at the Spaghetti Bowl. Want to just remind you of some ongoing closures a little bit further south that have been in place since March. Interstate 110, that's that short freeway spur that leads from the US 54 to the Bridge of the Americas, closed to all northbound traffic. That's because southbound traffic is still flowing. Of course, there's some traffic that's been temporarily prohibited from entering Mexico, but that traffic that is allowed to continue crossing is able to continue accessing the Bridge of the Americas southbound on I-110 in a temporary configuration. This is giving crews the room they need to work on a retaining wall in the southbound lane. All northbound traffic, though, leaving the Bridge of the Americas is being required to get off on Paisano. Best bet, head over towards the zoo, then get on Gateway North. All the ramps over there on Gateway North near the zoo have been allowed to reopen, so you can get to I-10 East, I-10 West, and US 54 from there. All right, next thing we wanted to share with you, a closure on coming off of US 54, that exit 20A, which is shown there in red, which links US 54 southbound to Paisano Drive, has been closed to all traffic. This is because Gateway South has been temporarily converted to two-way traffic to give residents of the Findlay Lata neighborhood more access during some paving work, which is inhibiting their ability to get in and out of their neighborhood. Another thing, of course, temporary access for Customs and Border Protection coming off of Paisano Drive. Now, this is the next video we have to share with you. Kind of shows some big permanent closures which will be taking place in the coming months as it relates to the I-10 Connect project. Now, when we were looking at that fly-through animation earlier, we talked about some big changes coming. Traffic will be allowed to continue east-west on Paisano even after this project is done. But in order to kind of alleviate some of that congestion near the Chamizal and the El Paso Zoo, no traffic will be allowed to come off of Paisano to the Bridge of the Americas. Some of those permanent changes will be taking place in the coming months. So while the project still has months to go, some of those permanent changes will begin to take place. And we have a video from Jennifer explaining kind of what those changes are that could be coming sooner rather than later.
When the I-10 Connect project is complete, ramps from Paisano Drive to the Bridge of the Americas will be removed. This change will alleviate backups from the bridge onto Paisano near the Chamizal National Memorial and the El Paso Zoo. While the project is far from complete, some permanent changes will begin soon at the Paisano Drive I-110 interchange near the Bridge of the Americas. Stevens Street will close permanently between the Franklin Canal and I-110. The mid-level of the interchange will close permanently too. That means no left turns and no through traffic will be permitted at any of these traffic lights. Right turns will be temporarily permitted. Eventually, they'll be eliminated too. The changes shown in purple will be permanent. Neither Stevens Street nor the highlighted ramps will reopen. Once the permanent closures are in place, access the Bridge of the Americas by following the marked Juarez detour via the Pershing turnaround. Then, take exit 20B to I-110 in Juarez. All northbound traffic will temporarily be required to turn right on Paisano upon leaving the Bridge of the Americas. When the I-10 Connect project is complete, traffic leaving the bridge will be able to continue below the newly constructed and reconfigured interchange or access Paisano Drive. All southbound traffic will access the bridge via direct connector ramps at the Spaghetti Bowl. Stay up to date on the I-10 Connect project by visiting i10connectelpaso.org. Sign up for our weekly newsletter and text message alerts.
So again, some really big changes to the way we travel in that area immediately north of the Bridge of the Americas. This map you're seeing now shows a couple of things. First off, when these changes take place, again, date not certain yet, and everything that we're talking about is subject to change, but here's kind of what's the most likely scenario. That those permanent changes will be ushered in with a 27-hour closure of southbound US 54, shown there in red. Also at that time, those permanent closures shown in purple will agree. On the next slide, we're going to zoom in a little bit closer just to really put as fine a point as possible on what those permanent closures would look like. Again, exact date they begin, still to be determined. When this project is complete, Stevens Street will be closed to all traffic permanently between the Franklin Canal and the Bridge of the Americas. That's where you see that exclamation point. That is a really short bit of street, but it's very important. We know for a lot of people who have not been taking the marked detour, but have found their own way to get to the Bridge of the Americas by coming down Paisano, turning right on Rivera, and then connecting south to the Bridge of the Americas, or to I-110 rather, on Stevens. That access will be permanently eliminated in the coming months. So now is the time to really start beginning to get into that habit. Again, when this project is complete, all traffic for the bridge will take US 54 to I-110 to get there. So now is the time. Don't be caught off guard. Don't wait till the last minute. Now is the time to start building that habit, because that little Copia to Rivera to Stevens detour, or rather shortcut, will be going away. So follow the marked detours next time you head out. A little bit further to the south, you see that mid-level shown in purple. That's all four of those traffic lights right there immediately north of the Bridge of the Americas. That area will be closed. So you won't be able to go straight through the intersections. You won't be able to turn left. When all is said and done, all of that middle level will be closed and removed as part of construction. But in the near term, the first phase of closure will be no left turns, no through traffic. Those right turns you see shown in green will be allowed to continue during construction. Now, again, the permanent changes will begin before maybe the permanent pieces and parts are in place, so to speak. So while there'll be demolition work that's yet to be done, new construction that's yet to be done, the traffic patterns will start to more closely resemble what they will permanently look like in the coming weeks and months. All right, so let's talk about why these closures are needed now, why these permanent closures are coming as part of this project. Again, as we just mentioned earlier, the primary goal of this project to provide that direct connection between I-10 and Loop 375, so you can use Border Highway as a better alternate to I-10. The project will also eliminate that congestion along Paisano Drive near the Chamizal National Memorial and the El Paso Zoo. The way the project does that is by removing those ramps from Paisano to the Bridge of the Americas. So while many of us have for years taken Paisano to get to the Bridge of the Americas, in the coming weeks and months, that will permanently be closed. All southbound traffic, again, will reach the Bridge of the Americas via those new direct connector ramps coming from the Spaghetti Bowl, coming from US 54. So while when the project is complete, you'll be able to go I-10 directly to the bridge. Right now, you have to go I-10, follow the marked Juarez detour, and then access Interstate 110 to get to the bridge. But now is the time to begin thinking about, don't use Copia to get to the bridge, don't use Paisano to get to the bridge. So here's what will remain in place. The lowest level of the interchange, which carries I-110 to and from the bridge, will remain. The middle level, again, will be removed and replaced with a new overpass just carrying US 62 east and westbound. So while we're going to see some significant closures, permanent closures coming up soon, there will be some other closures to follow in the coming weeks and months. Again, just to kind of give you as fine a point as possible on what it will look like when it's done, we have this slide looking north from the Bridge of the Americas. Again, you see I-110 allowed to remain north and south out of the bridge. Paisano Drive, east-west, going left to right across your screen, will remain. But what will not be there is the access from Paisano down to Interstate 110. Here's another 3D view looking north away from the Bridge of the Americas. So you've just crossed back in to El Paso from Juarez near maybe the TABC facility there. You see not a great deal of changes to traffic coming out of the bridge, other than that you will be able to continue south or continue north on I-110 away from the bridge. The only connection from the bridge to Paisano will be this one. You see right there, kind of in the center of your screen, traffic will be allowed to turn left and right onto Paisano after the project is completed. But that's the only connection between Paisano and I-110 after this project is completed. Here's an overhead view. Kind of we flipped and zoomed or went kind of overhead. So you see I-110, Bridge of the Americas at the bottom of your screen, kind of Zavala Elementary towards the top of your screen. Again, you see that one-way traffic allowed to continue out of the Bridge of the Americas when the project is complete. Right now, you're able to continue across through a traffic light and maybe get back on the freeway if you wanted to. But that street, San Antonio Avenue, will become a two-way in and out of the Findlay Lata neighborhood. Again, all of that stuff, all of those changes are much further down the road at the end of the project. But the big thing to remember coming up, complete closure of the middle level, all those traffic lights at the I-110 Paisano interchange, expected to begin here in the coming months for the I-10 Connect project. And when those mid-level traffic lights close, they will not reopen. So Jennifer, I'm sure that leaves lots of questions for folks, and of course, we're happy to answer them.
That's right. Am I on? Thank you. When this project was in its design phases, we had several public meetings, and it became apparent that there were issues in the neighborhoods with truck traffic, in the Chamizal neighborhood with truck traffic accessing 110, or the Bridge of the Americas from Paisano. There was poor air quality, and it caused additional backup on the I-110 because every time a car turned left and merged, it backed traffic up on the 110. So this was an important change that came about to the design of the project during our public meetings. And it just shows you that TxDOT truly is responsive to the public input that we do receive at those public meetings. And I would encourage everyone to attend public meetings when they get the chance, because this is where the sausage gets made. It's not always very fun, but it's good to be involved because real change can come about on this project. So the important thing is that access is going away for multiple reasons, and everybody is going to have to get in line at the same time off of I-10, off of 54 in order to cross the bridge. I think it's going to really help with the backup there, separating out the traffic that's headed somewhere else so they don't get stuck in that type of traffic will also mean that there's more storage for the vehicles headed southbound. And while we cannot control the pace of traffic crossing the bridge into Mexico, we can at least make the wait fair and pleasant as can be. And people who are trying to go somewhere else will be able to access Paisano or Loop 375 more directly and not get gummed up in that traffic. So if you've got questions, we're eager to answer them. We have Jorge standing by, we have Rudy standing by, we have Joe's excellent skills putting together this Facebook presentation. Jorge or Rudy, do either of you have anything to add about these recent changes or upcoming changes? If you do, speak up. If not, that's okay.
Other than what Martin mentioned, no. Rudy, you have anything else? But I don't have anything else.
No, I guess it's, traffic's they're going to have to get used to traveling the way our new traffic control plan is, because that's the intent of the final design. So I'll just get used to the traffic pattern as quickly as possible.
Well, that's right. The main thing is that this is what the future will hold. So the sooner we can get used to accessing the I-110 and Mexico via 54 and I-10, the better off we'll be in the long run. Any questions come in, Martin?
No, but I would just encourage everybody again. Remember, we're info. Actually, hold on. We did just get an email, a question via email. Let me go ahead and take a read through it. So there are some questions about air quality when the project is eventually complete. Jennifer, I know you mentioned that was actually one of the guiding factors in the changes there near I-10 and US 54.
Well, that's right. So traffic that is idling typically puts off more carbon monoxide and particulate matter into the air than traffic that is moving when an engine is functioning properly. So the fact that we will no longer have the traffic backing up on Paisano and idling in the neighborhood, by the Chamizal neighborhood, passing through to to get there through the other streets like Piedras. This will be a big boon because traffic will continue to flow, and the flow of traffic will be improved when it's on the 110 because you will not have that traffic off of Paisano basically stopping traffic on the I-110 as it's trying to move southbound. So we expect that the air quality will improve, and it's something that we will be able to perhaps measure later, but we anticipate it just because of the way that engines function, and idling cars put off more air pollution than moving cars do.
And we did also get a question. We have one question about another project that we can forward to that project team, but also asking about and really raising a great point about the impact that just having fewer cars on the road has had, not only in terms of air quality, but also just recognizing that with so many fewer cars on the road, I mean, I think we've all been kind of watching to see how everything reacts. I'm curious to ask the project team, do y'all have any kind of anecdotal evidence out there in the field of how traffic has lessened over the past several months?
Go ahead, Rudy.
Was that to all of us there, Martin?
That was I think Rudy, you're probably most in touch with folks actually out there in the field on a daily basis. I mean, anything that they're kind of saying in terms of, I know we've watched traffic kind of be significantly lessened as fewer and fewer folks are on the road, and I guess that's still largely the case from what I can tell, isn't it?
Yes. As far as safety, it's been a blessing because we haven't had as many accidents at night.
Mm-hmm.
Attenuators, they typically get hit when we're working at night. So as far as safety, that's been huge improvement with less traffic. And obviously the production has increased as well with, the traffic control being installed quicker, which means we can get more work done in that time frame that we're working. So that's a big plus on our end.
Martin, I would like to ask something. Just the fact that there is not a lot of traffic out there, I would like to caution the public not to speed through the construction zones. People tend to just go faster when they don't see any traffic, but just be conscious that we're still out there constructing projects for the public. Okay, so if you see the freeway that is not that or the streets are not that congested, again, just be conscious that we're working for you. Thank you.
Always a good message. And those are all the questions that came in via email.
All right, well, that's wonderful. We appreciate everyone taking the time to watch our presentation, and you can continue to submit those questions over time. And again, it's info@i10connectelpaso.com, or right there on the Facebook page. You're at the I-10 Connect Facebook page. You're welcome to submit those questions, and we'll get back to you on them. The one thing about this, work from home is that I think more and more people are realizing that maybe that meeting could have just been handled with an email. So maybe going forward, we can continue to see a little bit less traffic on the highways. So again, Martin, I'll let you sign off, but thank you all for joining the Texas Department of Transportation on behalf of the I-10 Connect project at our Cinco de Mayo meeting. We'll be back again next month, first Tuesday of the month. Watch for the notices. It'll possibly be another video conference or Facebook presentation, but it's possible it'll be back at the Texas Tech School of Medicine. We'll let you know. Martin, you want to tell them how to sign up for those email alerts and they'll find out?
Absolutely. Go ahead, go on over. Again, i10connectelpaso.com. That really is the centralized information hub. When you get to that site, there are several buttons at the top. One of them is traffic updates. That has kind of our weekly list of traffic updates. Sign up for text alerts. That's how you get that information delivered directly to your cell phone in English and in Spanish on upcoming road closures. We do ask that you don't check it while driving. Make your car a no phone zone. And at that location, immediately to the right of that button, there's a subscribe to the newsletter button. That's information that we pump out each week in English and Spanish as well, and where we will make sure to give you the very latest on when, where, and how you can be involved, including these public meetings. So with that, you can also feel free to reach us. 855-463-1010 is our bilingual project hotline. We're happy to answer any questions we have from you as we continue through the next weeks between now and the next meeting. So we will see you in person or online first Tuesday of next month.